Greetings and salutations. This is you, Jarsz, the biggest YouTuber ever.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here. Chris from New York.
Good morning, everyone. And yes, today's live stream will be about CC, our favourite top lefter. But we'll get into him a little bit later. First of all, I want to start by welcoming my members. And I have new members. I have a new member called Jimmy G. Nice to meet you, Jimmy. And welcome to the hallowed order of Jarsz Souls. Also want to welcome Monkey in the Works, Andy Sibley 1, Daryl M, Judy Bassett, Stringer News 1, Nerd Alert, and Dora Unku. Well, thank you so much for supporting my channel. If you'd like to join them, there's a little join button down there. You can click that and become a Jarsz Soul. Well, a fully paid up Jarsz Soul, you might say. Right, so we're going to have a look at a few things today. I might mention, I was asked about Gary Wybinger in the chat a little bit earlier. If he shows up, he gets 3 chances to present proof that Earth is flat. If he doesn't do that, he's going to get banned because he downvoted yet again. And I believe another person downvoted, and I think I know who that was, but I'm not going to mention that now. But if you're just going to come to my stream and downvote it, you get banned. That's fair enough. And that way you won't be able to downvote anymore. So, Gary, clean up your act or piss off. Okay, so some of you might have seen Arctic Reflections in show number 1, my inaugural show of the Daily Jarsz. He did a video responding to Flatsoid. And in my first show, we looked at the I was going to say chat, and it's also not a debate either, is it? So it's, I don't know, a conversation between Flatsoid and MC Toon. And I thought it was a very good example of how flirfs operate, really. You can't get an honest conversation out of them. And that's the problem with them, I think. There's no honesty to flirfs. And, but Arctic Reflections summarize what the tactics that Flatsoid uses in particular, and he learned that from Nathan Oakley. Sorry, I'm just seeing Paul Heart Attack Support saying Gary has no evidence, and we all know that. Yes, no flirf does. If they did, they would present it. Yeah, but Arctic summed up the tactics very well, and it was something I was planning to do in a video, but Arctic did it so well, I'm just going to play his video. So now I have to, I hate StreamYard's sharing. Click, 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 click. Here we go. Sorry, I think I just started sharing without the sound. I was too keen. Oh, dear. All right. And I've got it going too fast too. Let me just bring it back to normal. Apologize. Let's go.
If you change your mind, you know how to contact me.
Let me know if you can hear it.
Some of Flatsoid's tactics in debates. This is from a debate with MC Toon about gravity.
And so I'm glad that you can be the one to share the cause of the 9.8 meters per second squared downward acceleration. So
I didn't make a claim about the cause.
And there we have the classic, I don't make a claim, I don't have a model, and so on. This is a classic flat earth tactic.
You don't have, there's no cause?
There has to be a cause, but I didn't make a claim about the cause.
So you
but we do have a cause claim though, don't we?
You do? Yeah, so you have lots of claims.
No. There is a claim for a cause for that.
Yeah, I mean, we have an explanation, and the problem is Flatsoid, you don't have any, so you've already lost.
What is that
you
claim?
Just wave the white flag there, Flatsoid, of you don't know why things fall down, you kind of failed.
Point. That's not the point. The point is you're reversing the burden onto me because you can't validate what your claim is.
And there was the next classic, burden of proof. They love that one.
No, obviously not. You have no science to back your position.
Wow. So in other words, you making a red herring, yeah? Because I never claimed science. Well done.
No, I'm happy to acknowledge that you don't have any science behind your position.
And then we have the classic red herring.
So you already dead in the water, yeah, mate.
I didn't claim that gravity was a force. It's the acceleration due to gravity.
Yeah, force due to gravity. That means F equals ma, correct?
It's the force due to gravity. I didn't say gravity
so
is a force. So don't play semantics here.
Sorry,
No.
that is force due to gravity.
Due to gravity, not force of gravity. That's a difference there.
Okay, so
now I know maybe English isn't your first language.
And word games and deliberate misunderstanding.
I don't care what you asked for in order to sidetrack. I'm specifically sticking to the topic that we agreed upon, and then you asked me, you begged me to present, and now I'm doing it, and now you're constantly interrupting.
And then we have sidetracking and interrupting.
You made a claim of universal gravitation, which is just you begging the question that there's a force.
And there we have the claims for fallacies. Flat earthers loves different kinds of fallacies. This was some examples from the same debate, and you can add that he behaves like a child the whole debate. I will link the complete debate.
Thank you, Arctic, for that. That was a really good summary of the way Flurfs approach things. I think that's a lesson to everyone. If you're going to go in and debate, or debate in quotes, of course, with a Flurf, you really need to think about these things, and they're going to do these things, and be ready for that to happen. So now we move on to our favorite top lefter, CC. I'm a bit, you're going to be a bit seasick with this first video of his. I've got 3 of them to show you. He spends 3 minutes mucking around with his camera. He's filming the moon. Let me jump forward until where it starts. Where he starts actually talking. He spends 3 minutes of an 8-minute video fiddling with his camera. Flurfs don't tech. Speaking of don't tech, let's see if I can share it properly this time. Oh, StreamYard really need to do this in a better way. There we go. And let's play.
Just understand that when you go into Google Maps and you zoom in on something on Google Maps, that's about 25 miles long. You can only see it for about, I don't know, maybe 100 miles outside of it. But yet something 238,000 miles away, I can zoom in right now. That's a crater. That's only about 25 miles in length.
See what I mean, folks? This is terrible stuff. And the sound is terrible. It sounds like he's at a train station or something. But I think if you could have heard him, and I hope you could, facepalm protection, I should have done my warning, shouldn't I? If you could hear what he said, he was saying that on Google Maps, if you zoom in on something 25 miles wide, you can only see it up to a certain distance away. But the moon's 250,000 miles away. We can see a crater that big very easily. They're not comparable. One's electronic for a start. It's not meant to be a real thing. Oh, I guess you got satellite photos and things like that, but they're taken from not so high up. Whereas you're looking at it from a long way away, and you're looking at something 25 miles. The moon is 4,000 kilometers wide. They're not comparable, CC. Don't give an argument from incredulity. What am I doing? He's not going to listen to me.
Something that's 238,000 miles away. How is that possible? You know why? Because this is a local object.
So there's a couple of things here. I don't know if you heard, again, let me know if you can hear CC well enough, because it's really hard for me to hear him even. I hope you can hear him well enough. He's saying that the reason it's impossible that you can see a crater 25 miles across from 250,000 miles away is because the moon is local. And key thing, he said the moon was a local object. So it's not a projection, it's not a hologram. He admits it's an object. Let's continue. Oh, another thing I should point out. First of all, I can see shadows in these craters. I'm sure you can too. That means it's a solid object. It doesn't have its own illumination because a light bulb can never have a shadow on it, can it? And secondly, where are the stars, CC? Nothing in this video can show you stars. So are you aligned with NASA? Because you're editing out the stars? No, it's because your camera can't pick them up with a bright object in the middle of the field of view like the moon. Surely it's so simple that you can figure that out. But then again, you're CC. Let's let him continue.
I remember, when I was back in the day. See, there she goes. I thought there were moon bases on there.
He said he thought there were moon bases there when he was a kid.
Let's go to Star Wars.
God, this makes me seasick. You see the bird?
What the hell was that? I don't know if that was a bird.
Yes, it was a bird.
Looks like. So you should have been able to see this with my friends. It's not possible.
CC, just because you say it's not possible doesn't mean it's impossible.
40 miles in length. Go on to Google Maps. Do your fucking research.
We did. You're wrong. Where's the stars, CC? Where are the stars? Why are there shadows on an object that is self-illuminating? Why are you making grunting noises like you're doing a poo?
But there's no way you can zoom in on something like this with an average camera.
Real Cygnus, he says later he's actually using a tripod.
I'm nuts.
Yes, you're nuts.
Oh my god, it looks like an alien.
Now he thinks it looks like an alien.
It looks like an octopus. Oh, Lord. It's so much fun, isn't it? Look at that.
Yep, shadows, not self-illuminating, no stars.
Already, what do we got? Probably about 75% credit right now.
You're debunking yourself, CC.
Yeah, I'll have to get it more steady today. More steady. I'm gonna have to get it steadier to really catch that wave that was recorded. I'm gonna have to buy a better tripod. Sucks. Alright, well,
There's a tripod coming.
I'll work it out. For now, here we go. The moon on October 2nd, 2023 is going to look exactly the same way next year, and the year after, and the year after. It's not moving away at a male's pace.
It's not moving away at a male's pace? What does that even mean? I think he meant to say snails. But no snail moves that slow. It's 4 centimeters a year. It is moving away. We've measured it. We put reflectors on there with the Apollo program. We can do, with a laser, we can judge the distance very accurately. And we detected that the moon is moving away from the Earth 4 centimeters a year. Now, that's not a lot. That's around 2 inches for those in the old money. Yeah, I don't know why he makes a point about that, because no one's going to be around when the moon's so far away that it's changed year after year. Of course, in 1,000 years it might be a little bit different, and in 100,000 years it's probably going to be starting to be noticeable. But why would you expect to know that for 4 centimeters a year? Why would you expect to see anything in your lifetime? It's just incredulity, Chris. But hey, that's what you're all about.
Remember they told you that? Oh, what's that? Is that a moon base?
Still on moon
It actually
bases.
looks like a hand. Look.
Now he thinks it's
Looks
a
like
hand.
a grip. Oh, come on. Don't tell me. You cannot see that. You cannot see that face and nose. And
So the face he thinks he's seeing, that's the nose, that's the eye, that's the ear, and this is the hand. He's got a vivid imagination, doesn't he?
ear. And hand. Tell me you didn't.
Called pareidolia.
Oh, man. That's hysterical. That is excellent. I love it. God, the creator. I love him. Him or her, whoever it may be.
And that's pretty much the end of that video. I don't know, CC, you're just ridiculous. Okay, let's move on to the next one. And again, terrible photography. For some reason, he starts without his normal greeting, but we'll see that.
All right. See, now that's the moon right there. Let's do this
Right
before
there.
the landscapers come
Probably
and make
too
a whole
small on the phone.
shitload of noise. That's the moon. Can you see that? Do you see that? Yeah, that's the day moon right there. And there's the sun, if you see that. There you go. Okay. All right. Stand by for a minute.
Yes. Okay, standing by. This is riveting video, Chris.
Okay. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here. Chris from New York, Westchester County.
Chris, why did we just look at the moon in the daytime then? What was the point you were making? at least tell us what you're trying to tell us.
It's 10/3/23.
No, 10/3. It's not the 10th of March. This was released on the 3rd of October. What's wrong with you, Chris? Can't you even get dates right?
That was the day of the sun. Okay, you see them both right at the same time. That's
we do
not
it all the time.
possible on a globe spinning in this infinite speed in space. The only
Sure
way
it
you
is.
can see the moon and the sun at the same time is if they were enclosed. Okay. Now remember,
No.
the moon is self-illuminant. That's
No,
right.
you proved that
It
yourself.
illuminates itself. The sun, we're not really sure. Plasma, possibly heat generating something, but I think heat comes from all over the area. To be
Chris, you're talking like you don't know what you're talking about. You're just saying things. You got presented no evidence. You have no reason why you think these things. You're just saying them. Why should we take your word for it?
honest with you, but hold on 1 second. Let's focus in on the moon, because I took that video last night. And what I love about the moon is that if that was 238,000 miles away, okay, and it's being lit by the sun that's 99 million miles away, how is that possible that we could even see it in the blackness of space? And where are the stars in all these NASA photographs?
And in your photographs, Chris, in your video, there were no stars. Do you not understand how cameras work?
Where are they? Where are they? I guess they didn't have a resolution back in 1969, right? But what about 2023?
Like the video you just
High
did in
definition
2023,
cameras. We all have them. Hell, we have them on our phone.
which is what you used last night.
My camera on my phone is better than any camera out there. I think mine's 10 megapixels. Now they must be up to like 22 or 30, I don't know. The memory now is up to terabytes now on some of these phones too. Okay. All right. More power.
Terabytes
than
and
Apollo 11
different
had
thing.
in its entire shuttle, and not shuttle, little. I'm going to call it a tin can, actually, because that's basically what it is. All right, I'm getting ahead of myself here.
I think that's unlikely.
Be reasonable.
Well, you first.
You see these pictures, okay, of a solar system flying, a galaxy flying through space. And if you're telling me that that's possible on this magical little land that people think they live on because they were brought up with it, and I was brought up with it too, so I can't get angry. I went through the same thing of this magical, mysterious Walt Disney World land, when really, in reality, all we are is just a flat Earth covered with a dome.
And where's your evidence for that, Chris? There is evidence for all the things you were brought up with, as you say. But where's the evidence that this is a flat Earth covered by a dome? There is no evidence. You would have presented it if you had some. At least give yourself some credibility.
And that's all it is. It's very simple. No mathematics, no trigonometry. Easy. Simple. Stars?
Very simple. Yes, you are. If it was easy, it'd be easy to present evidence for it. You haven't done that. Why not?
Space? Gone. Hey, this is what we live on. Hold on one second. All right. It's that simple. Okay. Imagine just picture, going back to 1955, somewhere in the middle right there, late, early 60s, when they finally figured out the best and brightest scientists, scientism, finally figured out that we live on a flat land and covered with a dome. And they saw the sun and...
Oh, really? Scientists figured out we lived on a flat land covered by a dome. Really, Chris? Can you present the papers where they presented this information? Where it was verified by peer review? These are things you need to do for something to be accepted. If it went through peer review and wasn't accepted, that's because it was bullshit.
The moon for the first time in a totally different aspect, where they thought it was, revolving around us and all this infinite space and all this other nonsense they learned when they were a child. When they finally figured out that we live and we're covered with a dome and a flat land, what do you think they did? It must have been kids in a toy house. You know what I mean? The first thing would have popped up into my head is like, just fucking shoot the moon. Shoot it. Do something.
I love that. Shoot the moon. Just shoot it. Let's hear that again. Kids
in a toy house. You know what I mean? The first thing would have popped up into my head is like, just fucking shoot the moon. Shoot it.
Hopefully that's not a call to violence. I don't think so, but it is ridiculous.
Do something, So that's what they probably did. They probably tried to shoot some shit up to the fucking moon and see that it's not a tangible object. You can't land anything on it.
Really?
Went right through it.
What you showed with your last video is that it was a solid object. Like I said, you can't have shadows on a light bulb. Oh,
He sounds.
oh, damn it. Some reason it jumped to the next video. I was about...
Shoot it.
There we go.
Do something, So that's what they probably did. They probably tried to shoot some shit up to the fucking moon and see that it's not a tangible object. You can't land anything on it. Went right through it, I guess. And what would it do? I guess go through it and into the dome. I used to think that the sun and the moon might have been inside maybe the dome, but that doesn't seem like way to me now.
And why is that, Chris? I mean, you came up with one piece of nonsense that was baseless in evidence, and then you changed your mind to another piece of nonsense that was baseless in evidence. Why? Give us the reason. Don't just say it.
I'm looking at it in a totally different aspect. I'm looking at it in a term of, this is almost like a holographic image in a way, but
And the evidence for that is?
possibly a plasma. It's difficult. You see, none of us
I don't think you even know what those things are.
know. All we do know.
Hang on, I'll just go back a little bit.
It's difficult. You see, none of us know.
You don't know.
All we do know, it's not a magical Walt Disney World land of being in space. Because
he's going to say why. Okay, let's hear what his reason is.
Land of being in space, because none of that exists.
Evidence for that,
it's
please.
Inside the dome here, something's reflecting it, or something.
So you have no idea what you're talking about.
That could make sense. That could make very good sense.
The whole makes sense argument always amuses me, because Flirts always invoke common sense. But common sense is just intuition based on your knowledge and your experience. If you have no knowledge and you have little experience, your common sense is not going to be very reliable. And if you refuse to learn, like most Flirts, you're definitely not going to be able to trust your common sense. But the problem is your common sense will tell you you can, because you don't know any different. That's why you need to go and learn.
I'm going to have to skip this call. Every time I get into a nice talk, and all of a sudden I get a fucking phone call. I should get another.
Why mention it at all then, Chris? Why not just ignore it? We can't hear it. Just keep talking. You're wasting time in your video.
Yeah, I really should. Anyway, so kids in a toy store, and then that's really what they now what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to figure out how high the dome is, because if they're going to create NASA, they're going to have to understand they're going to have to turn that rocket at some point. So they figured it out. They figured it out probably 100 miles, couple of 100 miles more. Who knows? All we know is that turns, and every single rocket will always turn no matter what.
Yes.
Just like the 5-year-old child when he was looking at the rocket going up. She said to herself, is that right?
So if I understand him correctly, he's saying that if there's a dome, the rocket needs to turn. Okay, we'll remember that.
You tell her, no, it's not. It should be going straight.
So you're contradicting yourself now. You think rockets need to go straight up, and what do? Make a left turn to be in orbit? How? The reason they turn is because they're trying to change their vector so that their velocity, when it reaches orbital velocity, at the height that they want to be at, is pointing in the right direction, as in perpendicular to the Earth's surface. That's how you get in orbit. If you went straight up, it'd just fall back down to Earth. Kind of pointless.
Don't tell me it's trying to catch up with the spin of Earth. That's bullshit. Horse shit. Give me the mathematical computation for that. Okay.
That would be really easy. Kepler's laws. And orbital mechanics is a well understood field of science. You can just look it up for CC. You don't need to just say, oh, show me this, because you can find it out easily yourself. If you weren't so dim-witted, you probably would have done it by now.
Okay. It's nonsense. Oh, man. I don't know. Just wanted to touch base with everybody, see how everybody's doing. I thank you for something. I thank you for viewing my videos.
How can you touch base with us to see how we're doing if you're not getting any interaction from us? Crazy stuff. All right. And you might be pleased to hear this is the last video I have from CC. It's only a short one. Now, I must warn you, there's a bit about the conflict in Palestine at the moment, but it's not directly about that. It's just using that as like a case sample. I normally wouldn't put that in here, but you'll see what he says, and I'll debunk it straight away. But yeah, it's not that bad. I don't really want to talk about that conflict because people are dying, and I want to respect that. But the example he gives, there's an easy explanation which he's just ignoring, and that's the reason I'm leaving it in.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris, from New York, Westchester County. I'm sorry about the fake war that's being implemented for all of us to enjoy. And you've just seen the videos of that, right? The airstrikes and buildings being blown up. But the one thing I don't understand is I'm going to post something right now.
One thing he doesn't understand? I think there's a few more.
But the one thing I don't understand is I'm going to post something right now. If you can get maybe 2.5 minutes into it, an airstrike, you know what an airstrike is? Yes, that's right. That's when they...
Yes, I think most people know what an airstrike is, CC. It's not something you need to explain, but who can stop you?
Fly over and they drop bombs.
Well done, you got something right.
That's right. Yeah, you see, now the bombs should be landing on the fucking goddamn roof of these,
Why, CC? Why do they have to land on the roof? These are apartment buildings. Land on the roof, you just blow up the top couple of floors.
These apartment buildings. Yes, but they're not. They're landing below them. And the explosion is coming from the first floor or the ground floor. How is that possible? How is that possible?
Why would it not be possible? If you want to demolish a building, you don't blow up the top floors, you blow up the bottom ones because that's the foundations. You crazy man. Well, I'm not going to say it.
On a plane to strategically have a bomb come down and land on the first floor where it should be coming vertical like this.
Why?
When you're flying by, it doesn't make any sense at all to you. No, it doesn't.
Like I said, they invoke common sense when they have none. And yeah, once again, respect to all those who are in this conflict. It's very distressing. That's why I don't want to get into it. We're here to laugh at idiots and try and get a break from all that.
And that's why I know all of this. Everything is bullshit.
Everything you've said is bullshit.
Fake.
Yes.
Nonsense.
Yes.
Sorry. Okay, let's get into the...
now he changes tack, so good.
Let's get into light.
So how do we come from bobbing to the vanishing point of light? I don't know how that's a segue, but he's going to make some hilarious statements. So let's let him do it.
Apparently, light can be projected from 10 billion, that's with a B, guys, okay, not with an M, a B, billion light years away. That's how, well, James Webb Telescope, let's see, wasn't that hit by meteors or something, which is bullshit, but wasn't it?
How do you know it's bullshit?
Mysteriously, they do
it wasn't destroyed though. It was just it's okay. Designed to get some impact.
So what is the vanishing point of light?
There is none.
What is it? When does light actually disappear?
It doesn't.
From your eyesight. Can anybody answer that question?
Well, it depends on when something's in front of it.
Because my perspective of light from a flashlight, if you go and I'm looking at you with that flashlight and you're walking away from me a couple of blocks, all of a sudden the light vanishes.
Yes, Chris. You're on Earth. There's an atmosphere. And not to mention buildings and hills and things like that. Of course it vanishes. It can only has enough power to punch through so much atmosphere. But you're comparing that to the sun sending light to the Earth through the vacuum of space. It's not comparable. There's no atmosphere up there, or at least not the sort of same one.
Okay, so you're on board with me on that, right?
No, because you're an idiot.
So where does light actually disappear in space?
It doesn't.
Is it infinite?
There's nothing in the way. Yes, it is infinite.
You're telling me that you can see light from billions of light years away.
If there's nothing in the way, Why wouldn't you?
When I'm just talking about 2 city blocks on
In
a
an atmosphere.
flashlight,
And a small
when it
light source.
vanishes away. I thank you for subbing. I thank you for viewing.
And that's the end of that one. All right. Oh, CC. He's never ceases to be ridiculous, doesn't he? Where's Wally? CC is asking how long before a photon gets sleepy and has a nap. Well, yes. He must think that photons go to sleep after traveling billions of years. Well, folks, that's our look at CC. Oh, Arctic Reflections is here. Hello, Arctic. We played a bit of your video earlier. You might want to catch up later. All right, so it's Meme Roundup. And so I've got 4 funny memes. If Earth's curvature existed, flat earthers wouldn't. Now, first of all, I'm pretty sure there's curvature in that picture. I haven't done the compression test, and it's a fairly small field of view, but I'm pretty sure I can get curvature there. Regardless, I think it does exist, of course. We've measured it, and flat earthers still exist. And the reason for that, is because there will always be stupid people. And people who are so gullible, they'll be fooled by idiots to believe nonsense. That's why there will always be flat earthers, unfortunately. And this is the old Oakley argument. Can I shrink that a bit? There we go. So I'm not sure why the top one relates to the bottom one. States of matter, yes. Shape of container, yes. Volume of container. You're thinking of it as something, again, like CC, you're thinking about it in terms of your experience on Earth and comparing that to a planetary scale. You can't do that. That's pseudoscience doing that. And as a whole, for some reason, flirts think there's like a firm barrier between the atmosphere and the vacuum of space. No, gravity's just holding the air down because it's not flying away. That's why we have a gradient in the atmosphere. More atmosphere is held closer to the Earth because it's closer to the center of gravity. And unless the particles in the atmosphere get really energetic, they can't really escape into the vacuum. Vacuums don't suck. It's just where things don't happen. There's no matter, I mean. But Flirst just refused to understand that. Now, this one's hilarious. So they're accepting, yes, boats disappear over the horizon. So none of this nonsense that the likes of Gary Wybinga would go on with. But somehow they think they're in a hollow. And the horizon works like that. That's just kind of ridiculous, isn't it? It's it's so funny. I don't even it's just ridiculous. And probably the next one is the stupidest meme ever. We'll do the one on the right first. How is this possible? So they're implying that this is a flat horizon, but you can quite clearly see that it's a panorama, which means it's a doctored photo to make the curve look flat. I mean, it's just the effect of a panorama. That's the way it works. If you film a curved surface in a panorama, it'll turn out flat. The fact that there's a horizon at all is disproof of flat Earth, of course. So, yes, it is possible on there because flirts use doctored photos or don't understand that they're using doctored photos. And if the Earth was a ball, they're implying that all the water would run down to the bottom. That, to me, wins the prize for the stupidest flat Earth meme ever. Because gravity isn't down like that. South is not down. Gravity, down is towards the center of the Earth, whether it's flat or a ball. So it just shows how little they understand. Where's Wally? Gravity is a myth. The Earth sucks. Yeah, pretty much. All right. So I think that's pretty much all I have for you today. Hang on, let me check my run sheet. Oh, yes. I spoke with Rachie 50 yesterday, and she's going to come on next Monday, my time at least, Sunday her time. And we're going to have a chat and get some first-hand information from her about where her mind is at the moment in regards to the shape of the Earth, and I'm going to probe a little bit about her journey so far. So it'll be interesting to hear what she says. But that's a week away from now. No daily Jarsz tomorrow. I'm going to take Sundays off, I think. Just do it 6 days a week. That's enough, surely. And so I think that's pretty close. Oh, yes, we've got to do the YouTube things. If you like this stream, please click the like button. If you like what I do, please click the subscribe button. And if you really like what I do, please click the join button. And I think that's pretty much.
There's nothing left to do, but there's nothing left to do. Cue the corgi.